Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that.
What's up, everybody? It's Double O Gaming here with the latest and greatest videos, and today for you guys we got some RCT3 River Valley. And today's episode we build a roller coaster, but as a lot of things end up happening and a lot of things ended up not recording, you'll end up missing one of the main parts. But that is why POV I will go over some of the things that you may have missed. But let's just talk about what we've made for today's video. Right now we're building into that one spot that's like right outside of the viewing area and where you can go to the bathroom and all. So then you kind of get a more cinematic view of each building. And that's kind of like what I like to do with most of my parks anyways, is to get that feel like it's a real park. Well, as much as you can with RCT3. Yeah, we're putting some rocks, just not like too many so it seems out of place, but just like in random spots. And then we cover the rest up with a bunch of flowers with the technique, which is putting the flower thing in the air so it goes over the trees and then it just plants itself onto the ground. And it's one of the most helpful tricks that not a lot of people even know much about, even though I talk a lot about it. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Afterwards, then we're putting some stuff. I can't really think of the name of what they're called. I think they're like topians. No, not utopians, but something by that. But yeah, as you can see, we ended up having the game crash. We put it back, and there's a lot of things that were wrong, including the roller coaster that did not show at all. But this is like the final product of the roller coaster. It doesn't look like much yet, but it turns out amazing. What we're doing right now is we're trying to make one of those like ending stations. You know, let's see here. Williamsburg, Virginia. They got this thing in Busch Gardens, and I think it's Apollo's Chariot. At the end, they got this all concrete thing where all the brakes are, and it stops, and then you let another one go in. It's pretty cool. That's what this is basically, except a little different. And you'll see what I mean when I get rid of these pieces right here. What we're doing is we're actually just having a little square part of that station. And it's the block brake section, of course. It's where it's gonna slow down. It's gonna look nice. I mean, I wasn't very happy about like how close it was to the path. I would have brought it back, but honestly, I love what it looks like right now. And I feel like without that other brake, it would not look the way it does right now. So there is that. So right now, as you can see, it was nice and slow as it comes back to the station. Thought that looked amazing, by the way. I'm like a huge fan of that. So anyways, what we're doing right now is we are putting in these little fence pieces as more like decoration. Of course we know because how big these are compared to the people that are getting onto the ride or like just the guests walking around. We know we're going to have to put some safety precautions over there because you just have little kids climbing onto the station and dying. That's not something we would want in our park. So we're putting up these little fences first, like I said, for decoration, so then we can put up some chain-linked fences. And you'll notice we put those up twice because the game does crash. But right now we're just putting up these little poles to make the nice design. And instead of concrete on the top, we're going to put some wooden porches on the top. Now, the bad thing about these, though, that I've just figured out is that when on the ride and you go to look up, it looks completely horrible because the top part of it is just there for show. When you look from below, it looks just horrid. That's the only way I'm going to be able to put that. So anyways, as you can see, we're putting up the fences right now. Fences are in like a cool kind of just blocking the way, honestly. It doesn't really do much, except for just shows a lot of safety. But you won't see it much on the ride, which makes it even better, because it's just not noticeable. Right now what we're doing is we're then putting more on here, and then like, as you'll see in a minute, the game will crash and we'll have to restart all of that. And like, whoop-de-doo, you know. But we're putting those on there for the safety guards. And then, yep, there you go. It breaks off. Now, instead of going back to the fence thing, we're going to first work on this little open spot in between the ride and the block rake section. we're going to put a few plants down to kind of give it more of a wild feel. Put 2 different types of trees and kind of blend them up together. So then it kind of gives you that nice woodsy feel. Because this is River Valley. It's almost like Grizzly Park, which was a woods kind of thing. I kind of just want this to feel like this was just built from the forest, and then like it was a forest, and then we kind of just put an amusement park on top of it. So that's kind of the feel that I'm going for, but we're of course using more rocks. I've realized that rocks really make some good decoration choices, and it looks phenomenal when you put them in a correct way. Like, if you overdo it, of course it's going to look like horrible, hideous, however you want to put it, but like, if you space them out and put them in different areas, it can really make it look amazing. But like I had said earlier, the game did crash, so we now have to put back these fences. And again, it's for safety regard. It's so then guests don't start like climbing on top of it, and then train comes, and then that's another lawsuit, more paperwork. Ugh, the paperwork. But now we're putting on these little piratey fences, and we're actually gonna put them like on top, and it really, like, I never really thought it would look that good, but it does. It really builds on to the cool thing about it. Now, one thing I did not mention is the name of the ride, and maybe I put it in the title, I'm not sure, but it is Eastern Rattler. That is the name of the ride. It's Eastern Rattler, and it's gonna be a phenomenal ride once you see the POV. And as you can see, the color of the track really fits that too. But yeah, now we're just doing a fence thing around the whole ride, so when we build into the park further, preferably while I still have this park, because I don't know, maybe I'll have a loose finger and I'll accidentally delete it like I did with the other park. But I'm not going to get too far into that, because this is another park. So right now we're actually doing a little bit of backstage work as well. We're putting in these fences, and then the fence that you see that I just put down right there, that's going to look like more like a gate to like go in there, or you can use this door that I'm putting in, and that could also be the thing that you could use. I don't think you even got to see the door, but yeah, there's that. But now what we're doing is we're putting a few bushes in here, and these are just adding more to the nature work of the track, so then it doesn't look like an empty, hollow shell of nothing. But yeah, you can also see how compact the track is. It's a big coaster, but in a small slot, and that's something I love, because then it can just build in and out of, well, not each other, but in and out of itself, and it can look nice. Now what we're doing is we're putting some of these chain-linked fences on the other side of the wooden fence, in case of, I don't know, the crazy employee that broke the fence and now is trying to get on the ride to die. We don't want that, and that could always happen. You know, you gotta think ahead. So we're putting some safety precautions even there, so then no one can make that mistake. Right now what we're doing is we're just finishing up the rest of the fence, though. This fence does get changed right on the area that I'm just building past, because I'm hopefully gonna have a path right near that area, and when we build in further. So yeah, it's gonna look nice, but we're gonna end up getting rid of that fence right there. And before we do that, though, we're gonna just put in this part of the fence, and then like we're just gonna finish it off right here, because I didn't want chain linked at the end, it would look weird. Now we're getting rid of all of these, and then we're gonna put in the other one, which is the ones that kind of look like gates. This time it's not meant to be like a gate. It's kind of confusing now to tell the difference, but you know, you'll find a way. Now we're kind of near the end of it. I believe I'm actually not sure where we are now. Oh yeah, we're putting in lights. Putting in lights in the park. And I realized that we're just gonna have to use the western ones like I've used in almost every park, because they do illuminate pretty well and they actually look like street lamps. Well, as best as you can, well, yeah, as best as you're gonna get. But yeah, now we're just lighting up the park. We actually don't light up all of it because I was running low, and I was afraid that it would not save this recording, and that's me being very honest right now. I just did not want this to be lost. But yeah, we're putting up all these lights around all the shops, make this look more illuminated. It's gonna look more fantastic near the end. There's a lot of more right now, but that's because it needs more. So we're just building, or not building, we're just placing down these lights These lights are gonna make sure that people don't get lost in the dark, or, you know, like those people that are afraid of the dark. We want them to not be afraid of our park because it's dark. So we're gonna fix all that up, and that's the huge goal. But then I realized there's not a path here, so I have to add a path here, because I guess I forgot to in the last video, so we're gonna place that in, and then, the last thing that we'll end up doing is coming close. I believe, actually, we're about to start our last thing. Let me think. Alright, actually, first, let's finish our lighting. I forgot we gotta do the lighting inside, and we wanna light up that area. It's, pretty important that we do that inside of buildings as well, because, again, you don't want it dark inside of a building. That's the worst thing to have. Yeah, I think that was pretty important for us to do. I'm pretty proud about that. Now we're going into daytime for the last thing, and that is putting some roofs in here. It doesn't take long, and it's not that hard. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like on what you want to see next. Leave a comment. Or not, leave a like, leave a comment then on what you'd like to see next. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This is 00 Gaming, signing off.